Hello guys, it's Shocker came back here once again. Shout out to the video. How the Hajime Ippo fights have changed over the past few years. I can't really say nobody's been talking about this. No one's really said anything about it, just across anything. I don't think I've read anymore. But overall, I've noticed that in recent years, Hajime Ippo fights changed entirely. From the fights itself and the fights have gotten better, way better, more technical, more refined, more detailed, more monstrous, more gruesome, more wrist breaking, more spleen splattering, more blood all over the place. But overall, the fights themselves have changed, and it really has been recent with characters like Amai and Hoshi. And I fear I might have going forward with Ricardo Martinez as well. And that is, back during the early days especially, every single fighter had a gimmick, had like a punch, had like a certain technique that was unique to them. Like with Ippo, his natural balance, hard endurance, that's all he had. And his attrition. Miyata, he was the prince of counters, he was a counting machine. Yeah, he was a counting machine. And you got guys like Kobashi, it was his clinching and his technical punches. Or you got guys like Mishiba, where it's his flicker jabs and his chop and right combination. You got guys like Hayami, where it's his shotgun. You got guys like Cinder, where it was a smash. He always had a low guard, and he was a smash, he was a hard puncher. And we can keep going on. We got guys like Sayeki and Vork, where Sayeki had the excellent footwork, one of the fastest punching characters throughout the entire series to date. And then we had Vork, another technically refined boxer who only lost due to stamina problems, and that was pretty much it. He pretty much should have won the fight if he would have had better stamina and what Kurogama they call spirit. And then he fought Sendo again, which was a more refined fighter from the early days, and it even goes further beyond that. Because in Hajime Ippo, a new challenger. Man, Hajime Ippo, a new challenger. You got guys like Miyata going against Ernie Gregory, he had the Bloody Cross. Or you got AJ Dante versus Ricardo Martinez, where AJ Dante couldn't do anything. He couldn't break through Ricardo Martinez in his stop defense and his natural born tactics. And it goes even further beyond that with Ippo Dipsy rolling and KOing that one guy. And the great Takamura going against Brian Hawk Swayback that he could not deal with properly. And it goes on and on from the Shimbukuru, with his hard endurance, his gazelle punch. We got that old guy that Ippo's going against with his unbelievable endurance and his old veteran tactics. It goes on and on and on. Greedo, like Greedo Gecko, whatever his name, the Philippine champion, Greedo, Wally, and Alfredo Gonzalez. And it kind of really stops around Alfredo Gonzalez. Well, really around Richard Bison. Where Alfredo Gonzalez was a real technical, refined fighter with a very high boxing IQ, levels above Ippo. But through attrition and proper timing and proper technique, Ippo was able to overcome that. Sadly, he wasn't able to see that last right counter. But you can see I'm getting that. In the early days, each fighter had a gimmick. In the early days, over time, each fighter would improve. Like Misha. I've already made an entire video from the rise of Championship Misha, with him giving up the illegal bows, giving up the desperation to become a refined boxer, and realize that he's not doing this just to fight like a rugged animal anymore. He's doing this because he's a boxer. That's what he is. And he pretty much got rid of all the desperation and started to fight like an actual fighter. On which I still don't know who could have won between Samamura, Ryuhei, and Misha. But like you could make all types of arguments. Samamura, not Samamura. Samamura had his good moments. Misha had his good moments. So the foul got out of control, and it got to the point where I don't even know who's winning this fight anymore. And it's unconfirmed if Misha would have won if someone more would have got up properly. It's even unconfirmed about that, in my opinion, because he wasn't able to see it. So it's just, we don't know if someone more would have got back his senses or not, or just he would have been knocked out. We just don't know. But you can always just tell in the early days, like I mentioned earlier, every fighter had a gimmick. Every fighter had something unique to him. Even with those cannon fighter guys that had something unique to him, like that guy that Misha fought that can easily get rid of his flicker jabs and get in deep and punish Misha bodies. Not just one fighter, two different fighters on two different occasions. Like the Pacific Oriental champion he fought in lightweight, and the later guy, the Mexican guy he fought on the Takamura Bison undercard. Even Richard Bison, bringing back the flicker jabs, it was unique. He had the flicker counter, and he had different things to his arsenal. But you see, recently, things like that don't really happen anymore, unless they're gonna happen with Teihei and Katara, in which I hope it does. But recently, like look at Keith Dragon. There is pretty much Nothing really unique about Keith Dragon at all. So you can say the same thing about the Golden Deagle. David Eagle, what's so special about him? He had the shoulder roll, pitch point straight boxing technique. That's pretty much one. Straight to the basics. Excellent boxing technique. Excellent defense with a shoulder roll, and that's it. So you don't have to shoulder roll like a Floyd Mayweather, but he still had to shoulder roll nonetheless. He had elements to his technique, but now recently, no fighter has really had anything unique to him. Especially since Ippo got knocked out that second time against like even Antonio had something unique to him. Even he did. But recently, with the whole Mai and Hochi thing, how pretty much both of those fighters have evolved at all. They pretty much have done nothing. Besides from Mai becoming a one-punch KO machine, and Hochi just, I guess he did something. I don't even know. Let's be honest. What has Hoshi improved since he fought Itagaki? Nothing. It was just a slug-out fight, and sure, this could just be the caliber where like it's a bad matchup, something with a sender where the reason we don't get, well, my reasoning for why we don't get to see the Super Smash is because it doesn't really work against outboxers well at all. Because you think about it, he had the same trouble with Shigeta in those early rounds. He just couldn't get close to him. There was no Super Smash in that fight. He had to dash in deep and lay into the body with the combinations and lit his face up like a Christmas tree. That's what he had to do. And he fought Freddy Gonzalez and Jose Nargo a similar way. You just can't just, well, you're going to pull up the smash and hit what? Air? Like against Jose Nargo? Just hit straight air. Wow, that's quite impressive. When it's in the recent chapter, it's just, you don't really get too many fighters with any unique gimmicks. Keith Dragon, now I think about it, really did not have anything. Like seriously, the whole greatest attribute, like we was getting hyped up for, was what is the ground cannon? What is the heaven cannon? And I guess we figured that out in like the first few pages of the chapter. And what he just does it right off the bat and he's never get brought up again. Huh. Alrighty then. Like seriously, we get hyped up about a technique we only get to see once. And I don't even know what the ground cannon even is. It doesn't play any role in the fight. So what was the point of having this if it's not going to do anything? I'm not saying it should take over the entire fight, but even with Richard Bison's flicker jabs, it played some role to Takamura overcoming it, or we get the chance to see what it was. When it came for Keith Dragon, nothing. What am I? And Hoshi, whatever you see, I was so excited. You can see in the prediction video and see how they've evolved and become more of their own style, and seeing how they've gotten better. But how did they get better? They didn't get better. They didn't do anything. They did the exact same thing they was doing about 200 to 300 chapters earlier. They have literally have not changed. There's no advancement. There's nothing. Besides, Amai hit Hoshi with a liver blow and he goes down. That's pretty much it. That's literally it. Great, fantastic. Exactly what I was waiting for. And it's one of those things where it is something I miss, and I hope it gets brought back or used better. The fight, that extra edge, the extra arm, the extra heel the fighter's gonna climb over. Even with Freddy Gonzalez knew he was going into the Tiger again against Sendo. And he had to use his footwork. He had to use his better punch selection to take down the Nanua Tiger. Sadly, you should have stepped up using your footwork, you idiot, because you were beating him easily with the footwork. Oh, I don't see why. And you got the retarded Gonzalez stance. I guess it's too slow to tell the difference between the sport, because it's just... Is it that hard when he actually said it? His coach says use your footwork. He said no. I don't know why Freddy Gonzalez. What do you mean you don't know why he lost? He just... Alright then. And I was like some months ago back when I read it, back when I had to make that whole fight analysis video for Freddy Gonzalez, and it's just like, wow, it's right there. Like, have you not reread the chapter? Alright then. At first I was in the same camp of how did this fight get where it was. I reread the chapters. I understand. Boy, I tell you, boy. I tell you. This is why it's pretty much me. I stick to my own self. Pretty much. But overall, it really has been a change, and I hope it does return back to the way it was, because it is quite a recent change where it's less focused on boxes having a specific thing about them. I understand on the world stage a lot of things blend together seamlessly, but I will be extremely disappointed if Wally shows up against Ricardo and he shows out nothing. We already know that Ricardo Martinez got more in the tank. We have not seen Ricardo Martinez in style at all. We already know he has more. I'm not expecting him to get pushed to the limit by Wally, but it could be a possibility. We could see what that infighting style, even just a glimmer of it, could be. But in this case, if it doesn't show up, I will be disappointed. I really would, because just like, what has Wally done in the past few years? Well, just like, what has he done? Like each fight used to have his own attributes. Used to have this own unique thing through him. I think the Richard Bison fight is one of the best ways to actually do it, because it was a part of the fight, but it wasn't something that, oh, since Richard Bison got the flickers like the early days of Ippo won't be able to get inside or anything like that. And even then, even with the whole Mishima thing, it wasn't just cut and dry where it just, well, Mishima only had the flickers and that was it. Mishima had the flickers, and Ippo was breaking his hand against his elbow. It wasn't just one simple. There was elements to the game with the fights. It's not that the fights have gotten bad, but it is a cause of concern to a certain degree. That it seems like certain fighters are rather not involved, or it's like having a certain gimmick is not really important anymore. That's what it seems like. Hey, maybe it can't just be me, but it used to be something. Even with the comical ones, like that fault. Those two champions, Aoki and Kimura's fault, under the David Eagle undercard. Those, even though that was comical, they still had something unique to them. It wasn't just they went in there. And sure, we already know there were those guys that were just cream puffs. They were just shut to get knocked out that day, like that one hit KO Senno got immediately when we returned. Or some of the guys Miyata fought, he was warming up, cracking jaws, and detaching people's spinal cords, on which I don't see how he survived that. But alright then, just snap, and he's still kicking. But overall, I hope it is something Hajime put that does return. It was a fun value, added the extra oomph to the fights. It's another obstacle, it's another type of technique that Ippo got to overcome, something you haven't seen before. Cause I'm not gonna act like every single boxer is like some type of guy, some magical, some spectacular, unique style. No, that's not the case. But there are certain fighters where people say the matchups is all about the matchup, and style makes fights. There are fights where that does come into occurrence. And we just haven't really seen that recently with anybody. That guy Miyata fought like around like what? The 1230s? What was his unique factor? He had nothing. Nothing. He had nothing unique to him. Miyata was just having a difficult night that night. That was it. That was it. My knockout of nobody as far as, I can't really say he's a nobody. We don't know how tough the guy was. I can't say he was a nobody. I'm not knock somebody else out in the first round. We don't even get a chance to hear anything about him. He just drops. And that's it. I'm not like acting like these fights should not exist, but like when it comes to the big fights, there gotta be something unique to them. So I hope in this Vork and Wally fight, like second, we're already in another big major fight with Mish, but I hope this new guy, and I think his name was like, was it Ryan Garcia? No, it wasn't Ryan. It was like Ryan something. I know his last name confirmed was Garcia. Hold on. I gotta check the chapter. I gotta download it on the laptop here. But I look up his name. Come on, Betty. Come on, laptop. Come on. Where is it? Cause yeah, there it is. Chapter 1352. Back when these fights were getting set up back to back, and before Ricardo Martinez decided, I might want to stall and take a few tune-ups before fighting. No, yeah, it was it was Juan Garcia. Hopefully, Juan just won't be another infighter. Hopefully, it'll be like some type of tough endurance. Mishima has mentioned the high weight classes he has went since he entered junior lightweight and lightweight itself. The harder it is to put somebody down weight class as well, standing at a monstrous 5'9". But then again, in real life, we got someone like Nakatani that Teofimo Lopez fought, and he was 135. 6'1", pretty big guy there. Teofimo Lopez not too tall either, so it's not like we haven't seen matchups like this. But it's just it's been a while for like a fighter had like a particular style or gimmick that was hard to overcome. That you had to put some work in. Even if it was just like a technique, like Ernie Gregory, he just had the bloody cross. I'm looking at like this man's amazing, but he had the bloody cross and he had the monstrous left and right hook combinations. That's what he had, referring to him as the Crocodile. That was his code name. And that was pretty much it. It's just it's not like something that's been ongoing from the series. It's been recently ever since. I guess you could say, Yeah, I guess you could say all the way back since Ippo lost the second time. This has been really a major thing that's been going on. Yeah, ever since back then. Yeah, ever since back then. But that's been more or less the video. I got thoughts and opinions on this whole how Ippo fights have pretty much have changed, especially in the recent years over the years. Because Sayeki still had his light and fast footwork. Kurosawa had his light. Like, we got to actually see how good Kurosawa was. And I like how the Kurosawa fight was from Kurosawa's perspective. We get to see the raw monstrous power of Ippo. But in this case, against Itagaki, we got to actually see how good Kurosawa was with his footwork. And it wasn't just, oh, well, you know, Kurosawa was never good. He was a good fighter. He just, sadly, wasn't really a good Japanese challenger to Ippo. It's not like those fights doesn't exist. Because we got fighters like Sayuki that was violated by Vord that had the exact same problem. Because we don't know how good, we don't know how good that guy was until he went against Vord and got destroyed again. So, so it is what it is. 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 I just hope that Wally does bring something new to the table from his arsenal, that he has evolved since the last time he fought Ippo, that he does show some other levels to his game. I don't care if it's better boxing IQ, I don't care if it's better punch selection or better technique or better accuracy. He gotta show something, damn it. Jeez. It's like, they make it worse for the fighters that we already known. You could just say a new guy shows it. Like the reason Keith Dragon gets the lead was because he was really hyped up after the whole luck thing, but he was still a disappointment, did nothing, and had no type of relevance or true setup. He just went back to, well, the long lead hook, and it turned out Takamura just couldn't see it. That was the excuse against Richard. It is what it is with that. It is what it is. It really is what it is for that. Because I don't hate Keith Dragon. It's sad because it was so much hype going into the fight. The first few rounds was fantastic. It was great. And then when Keith started return fight, it was good. And then it started to go downhill. And what's happening, Takamura? Why are you starting to lose? What? It is what it is. It is what it is, man. It is what it is. But yeah. I just hope things get better. That's it. I'm not gonna act like, oh, this is crippling Ippo, or Ippo is just not the same. No, the fights are still good. There are still elements to the game. It's just the fact that something I've noticed recently where it just actually has been like where's the improvement? Where's the evolution? Like Miyata kept getting better, Mishima kept getting better, Sendo kept getting better. Like everybody from the previous generation kept getting better, but it's like Itagaki's generation, Kronos has stayed the same. He has never evolved, and then from that same merit, Amai has never evolved. Besides from increased punching power, what has Amai shown? Extreme attrition, and that's it. That's literally it. And that shows us a weakness that Hoshi is not Sendo. He does not pack the same endurance. So I do think Hoshi might need a different dance partner, to be honest. Because that whole showing against Amai, it was an excellent fight. But the way Amai hit him to his body and he dropped and got really rocked and shocked and he was just gone. I think Amai, I don't think Sendo is a good match for Hoshi, to be honest. Cause he tried to beat into Hoshi that whole attrition. You need to go in there, grit your teeth. But Hoshi, his body can't handle that. He's not a Sendo. He's not a Monkanuuchi here. He can't take them caliber punches, especially to the body. Ippo have taken some body shots, and Ippo have given out some body shots where you blowing organs of the people. But what is this? Hoshi's not doing that. He's really not. Maybe he should have stuck to karate. Karate might be one of those things. Maybe Sendo might find a new student. It's possible, but and maybe Hoshi might make a better trainer. Who knows? Who knows? Because it was that cause concern if he would retire or not. And the way Sendo's like, we need to talk about something. I don't know. I think Hoshi might be go down that Sayeki route and might go clean into retirement because he already fought both Hoshi. We've all seen what happened with Sayeki. You fought two of the main characters, you go straight into retirement. But like seriously, you fought two of the main characters, whether it's Itagaki or Ippo and Sendo, they both was beaten into retirement. So it's not like, well, maybe it's not. Man, I think Hoshi's career is done. I think he's done. It's sad, but Yeah, he's going gently into that career good night. Like I said, I'd like to know your guys' thoughts and opinion, and especially the most, I guess to say, not that disappointing, the most underdeveloped character is Kentaro. Like when is Kentaro going to get his time to shine? I understand that we've been getting these great fights back to back, but where are the rest of the characters at, man? We got two extra characters. At least Teihei was given background. Kentaro was just that blonde guy in the background. That's literally his best claim to fame. The one guy Teihei need to train to get better. That's literally his only claim to fame. And it'd be interesting to see these two fight against guys like Hammer now or these other guys. But I don't know, man. I don't know. I just hope them and Itagaki get the proper story development, and at least hopefully I might get to fight somebody, for God's sake. Itagaki has fought pretty much half of Ippo opponents, and AJ Dante was literally beaten into the retirement by the devil himself, Ricardo Real Deal Martinez. So it's just, from Ippo's Japan resume, there isn't really too many people to actually go after her. Samuel Ruhei in retirement, which I hope he comes out of retirement. I hope he could still be able to fight. Hopefully, but that's just wishful thinking on my part. But overall, it's just there's nobody Kentaro or Teihei can really fight unless he George come out. Well, there's Daisuke wannabe, but Ippo never fought them, so. And that's pretty much the end of the road. Well, like I see, there is Hayami, which is messed up, but I don't want to see Hayami lose again. I don't want to see him lose again. I really don't. And Kobashi retired. We never found out what happened with Jason Osmond, but I think I heard like he retired. I can't confirm that or not, but yeah, there's not really too many people where just, hey, look, Kentaro and Teihei can fight these guys, and we can get some wins under the belt. We haven't even seen them go to the to get their boxing license yet, so. And we don't know where Teihei's living at. And John Aoki and Kate Aoki +8. We'll get that series. We'll get that series with Aoki. I hope it's possible. We get that series. John and Kate Aoki +8. No. That's pretty good. But yeah, there's no break next chapter, so we get to see what heck was going on with Misha, see his further development. I hope the fight is good. I really do, because the last fight with Misha with Shinobu was fantastic, was great. But I hope one gives us something good here. I really do. I really do. But hey, that's just some cause and concerns, some recent thoughts, and that's pretty much more or less what it's been. It's been really nothing major, really, but like I mentioned, like every fighter had their thing. Every fighter had this one unique factor to them that they can advance and evolve, and it's great to see, like, especially like during the times of Ippo and Miyata. That was the glory days right there. That's when you knew it was great. Each fight, both Miyata and Ippo getting better and better. The joke counter, it was back to back, having entire episodes and chapters dedicated to Miyata. It would flip flop back and forth, a challenger after a challenger, Miyata breaking his hands. It was excellent. And then they split off, and Miyata still got better, but it's yeah. And the series continued, and we had great fights after that. I still believe the fight between them can still happen, especially applying real boxing world logic. We've seen fighters meet at a catch weight. We've seen fighters from two different weight classes fight each other thousands upon thousands of times. Whether it's the great sound to the hard-working man at a taxi job or a cab driver, just there's guys who've done it before. So we just gotta see how things turn out with George. Gotta see how things turn out, because I've been saying, like seriously, look at it. There's not too much left in Hajime Ippo, because Ricardo gonna fight Martinez, and Senna gonna fight Martinez, and I believe he's gonna win. Some people believe, well, it could be a strong hit that since Ricardo Martinez is still talking about Ippo that he's gonna lose. I don't believe Senna's gonna lose. I'm sorry. It's just now I don't think George just turns Senna to a punching bag. If he does. And the loss is due to shenanigans. Unlike most people, I'm pulling out the bus and I'm rolling over it. All right, Sendo, unless it's confirmed, he can have some concept that he won't lose. It just depends on how he loses. That's all it comes down to. If he gets overwhelmed and destroyed, Ippo has no chance. I'm sorry. We already could argue that Ippo and Sendo are relatively close. Relatively. Especially current Ippo who's still holding on to weights. So if Sendo gets destroyed, like seriously, if Sendo gets destroyed, there is no chance of Ippo winning. I don't care what anybody says. No, there is no chance. If Sendo gets destroyed in like round 1, there is no chance Ippo can beat Ricardo. No, that's not happening. Cause I take Sendo taking an ass whooping. Sendo can handle a loss. If he gets destroyed, like murderously in the first round, and it's not like round 4 or 8, Ippo stands no chance at all. Because you're talking about one of the toughest characters throughout the entire series getting beaten like a piñata. Like, name someone else tougher than Sendo in his weight class. No, scratch that. Just period. Besides from Takamura, Sendo is the toughest character when it first to endurance throughout the entire series. Oh, what about Ippo? Ippo took Sendo's power and he was getting beaten up into the corner. Seeing Ippo versus Sendo 2, I've seen it. Got dropped, Millie Rock shot twice. And arguably he barely won the first fight because Sendo was unconscious. And he was still getting beaten. So they've always been relatively close. They're always putting on a spectacular performance. But if Sendo gets destroyed, there is little chance Ippo has of surviving Ricardo Martinez. Yeah, that's all I say. Because if Ippo thinks he can get off the couch, have a few tune-ups, and fight Ricardo Martinez, he's getting sent straight to the cleaners. Like Ricardo would be using his head as a mop. Like seriously, that's how bad it is. If Sendo, who's active, gets destroyed, there is no chance. You can claim whatever what if or buts. I got the facts, I got the paperwork, and I'll prove you wrong. But I've been got thoughts and opinions. What are your opinions about the whole change of Hajime Ippo over the years? Do you believe it's just it's really just nothing, or do you believe that it is some merit? And you kind of do wish the fights will eventually have something like that again, because not every fight can be like that. But geez, it's been a drought since any character has evolved really, or had anything extra added to the arsenal. It's just because, like, unlike with Mishiba, I believe Mishiba is the best version that we will ever see. I think when Mishiba fought, she's excellent. His power is indestructible. His fitness are impregnable. He's an animal. He's an animal. Like, you see them full power flickers. Shinobu was getting ripped to shreds. The shreds. But I do believe guys like Miata, Sendo, and even Vor still have some way to go. And Ippo as well, like I said, I've already discussed multiple times, the best version of Ippo, the most refined version of Ippo will evolve. The new Demptero, he can move, duck, dodge, and do things that you've never seen him do before. And that can lead into a conveyor punch, that can lead into a liver blow. Especially since Ippo was prioritizing hitting people in their liver against Gonzalez. And I'm like, monster, you won't be able to touch him. And hopefully, Ippo weight has pretty much been the same. He has never had to deal with weight management. 126 is pretty much Ippo's natural weight, so yeah. So, maybe Shopper Kingdom got thoughts and opinions. Do you believe it has changed over the years, and you wish you can go back, or do you just believe that it's ramblings of quote unquote of a madman? Maybe Shopper Kingdom got like the video, like, comment, subscribe, and peace.